So it's a pleasure to welcome you all today. And let me introduce myself. I'm Nadezhda Mkrtychian from St. Petersburg State University and Laboratory of Behavioral Neurodynamics. And today I'm going to tell you about the contextual acquisition of novel words in relation to verbal abilities, motivation, ambiguity tolerance, and neural dynamics. During the lifespan, the human beings learn more than 40,000 words on average. And a rich vocabulary supports human achievement in social and professional areas, studying, communication, and the difficulty of language learning, on the other hand, negatively influences academic success and cognitive development. The study I'm going to tell you about aims to explore the psychological and neurophysiological correlates of successful word learning in the native language. Generally, word learning consists of memorizing novel word forms, acquisition of new meanings, and establishing links between them. To study word acquisition process, low-frequency words, words from other languages, or special created pseudo-words could be used as novel word forms. Connections between novel word forms and meanings could be established by pictures, definitions, or meaningful sentence context. However, in many studies, novel word forms are attributed to the semantics which is already known for participants. This doesn't cover the whole process of word acquisition and does not rule the influence of pre-existing factors associated with familiar meanings. In our study, novel words were attributed to both novel word forms and new meanings. To create novel word forms, we chose 20 Russian nouns with the same structure, you can see it on the slide, and mixed ultimate syllables between them. For example, terminal, it means terminal, became termirin, a pseudo-word. Rare or obsolete object, concrete semantics 10 items, and abstract concepts borrowed from foreign languages, also 10 items, were used for the novel meanings. 30 right-handed healthy volunteers from 18 to 35 years old, all monolingual Russian speakers, participated in the study. The experimental procedure consisted of 4 stages. The first stage was novel word learning. New word meanings could be acquired either during explicit learning or by retrieving them from the context. And the contextual acquisition is stated to be prevalent for native language learning. In this study, each novel word was presented visually as a part of 5 8-word sentences, revealing the meaning of the new word from the situational context. Every sentence occurred on the computer screen twice, word by word, and then entirely. Participants had to read the sentences and press a button after reading the whole sentence. Like this. Look at the slide, please. Okay. The second stage included an EEG recording. High-density EEG was recorded during the passive reading task with the control of attention. This control was implemented by the instruction to read stimuli and press the button each time when a city name appears on the screen. The list of stimuli included novel words, their lexical competitors, words and pseudo-words that shared 2 first syllables with novel words, and control words and pseudo-words, and the 8-letter city names, of course. EEG was analyzed for both event-related potentials and alpha-beta oscillatory dynamics. We estimated 3 parameters of alpha oscillations: amplitude, long-range temporal correlations, and variability coefficient of quartile variation. Stage number 3, assessing learning outcomes. 5 tasks were chosen to assess the success of learning: free recall, recognition, lexical decision, semantic definition, and semantic matching. Integrative variable general success was calculated as the mean of z-scores of all task accuracy. This variable was used to divide the sample into 2 main groups: more and less successful learners. 3 people with middle values were excluded from further analysis. Comparison between two groups of learners showed that they did not differ statistically in gender, age, and handedness, but more successful word learners had more years of education. The last stage of the experimental procedure was psychological assessment. Verbal conceptual abilities, tolerance of ambiguity, and motivation were measured by 3 tests. Factor analysis was applied to neurophysiological and psychological parameters to assess their impact on novel word learning. As a result, 5 factors were extracted. Parameters of alpha oscillations, amplitude, quartile variation, and long-range temporal correlation contributed to 2 factors, both of which significantly correlated with recognition task accuracy. This implies that high attention concentration and excitation inhibition balance were related to better recognition of novel words. Factors reflecting persistence in reaching goals and logical conceptual thinking ability positively correlated with the accuracy of recall and both thematic tasks, as well as general success score. Thus, these ecological features support the acquisition of both novel word forms and meanings. Semantic definition accuracy and general success score negatively correlated with the tolerance of ambiguity. More ambiguity tolerant subjects were less successful in acquiring novel semantics. ERP analysis showed that more successful learners had a larger amplitude of frontal P200, known to reflect attentional processes, also indicated that more successful word learners were more attentive to the materials than the less successful ones. Thus, the results showed that more successful that both psychological and neurophysiological variables interact with word acquisition success, whereas neuropsychological variables appear to be more connected to the recognition of novel nouns. Psychological features are also reflected in semantic tasks. That's all. Thank you for your attention. And now I'll be happy to answer your question.
Thank you very much, Nadezhda. Yes, we already have one question from Ekaterina Stankova.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question. Why do you access specifically the amplitude of alpha band? Do you think this band related with novel word learning?
Thank you for your question. No, the alpha band is not stated to be associated only with the acquisition process, but this type of oscillation have a very good noise ratio balance. So it is more common for oscillation analysis to begin with it.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Thank you.
More questions, please. Nadezhda, could I ask you to tell us a bit more about the results of these psychological tests and all the assessments that you made?
Okay. We measured 3 main, not parameters, but psychological features. Motivation as not as situational, but more general characteristic. It was a test named BIS-BUS. It measured 2 motivational systems, behavioral inhibition and excitation system. Also, we used, of course, some tests about verbal abilities, cognitive verbal abilities. It was on Howard's test. We used 2 subtests of these. they related to conceptual thinking ability, because we had a concept, new words, new meanings, so new concepts, and also tolerance of ambiguity. This test was chosen because these parameters is stated to be associated with language learning, mostly with second language learning, but there are evidences about the first language learning too. But interestingly, that we received unusual results, opposite correlations. So more ambiguity tolerant students in our study were less successful. It's opposite to common situation, and we think that it's connected with our learning procedure. So contextual acquisition requires to review the meaning of novel words from the context, and maybe less ambiguous, maybe tolerant students, they feel some nervousness or discomfort about the situation which is ambiguous, because the novel words, novel meanings, uncertain for them, and it motivates them to review the meaning more carefully, to reduce this nervousness. This.
Yes, I see. Interesting. Thank you. Okay. More questions? Okay, Nadezhda, thank you